So I recently finished playing Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, and I felt like throwing my thoughts out there like so many others. So, here we go. Ni no Kuni 2 is the tale of a man named Roland who gets transported to another world. He gets dropped off in front of Evan, the young king of the kingdom of Ding Dong Dell, right in the middle of a coup no less. After helping Evan escape, the former king vows to start up a new kingdom and rule the world. Or just unite it under one banner in an effort to gain lasting peace. Tomato, tomato. I personally love the cel-shaded art style. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and the attention to detail when it came to character animations definitely made things look that much better. I played the game on a PS4 Pro with the super sampling mode turned on, at least initially. Super sampling did improve the visuals slightly, but I noticed a loss of frames in larger areas. Without super sampling, the game still looks great, but I still noticed frame drops here and there, although to a lesser extent. So I opted to leave super sampling off. I preferred to have a smoother experience if possible. Your mileage and opinion on the matter may vary. Alongside the visuals, we of course have the audio. I felt that the orchestral soundtrack was just magnificent. The first time I set foot on the world map and heard the music, it made me feel like I just took my first steps into a wide open world full of adventure. And as far as I'm concerned, the rest of the soundtrack didn't disappoint either. While we're on the topic of audio and visuals, despite how phenomenal the game looks and sounds, there is actually very little voice dialogue and even fewer rendered cutscenes. I felt the English VO was alright, and I wouldn't have minded if more dialogue was actually voiced. Which conveniently brings me to what is probably my biggest issue with the game. At several points throughout the game, most prominently during skirmishes, dialogue will pop up in a small window at the bottom of the screen. The issue is that the window will frequently disappear before I've even had the time to read what the message was. Sometimes the messages are short and it's fine. Other times it could be as long as multiple sentences, and I don't know about everyone else, but I don't exactly read the fastest. Sometimes these boxes can pop up while you're in the middle of some action, and you need to make a choice as to whether you're going to keep an eye on the action itself or read the message. Having some more of the aforementioned VO could solve this problem. Fans of the Warrior-style games know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure I probably didn't miss anything too important, but I feel it is a concern nonetheless. I know some people are rather picky when it comes to English VO, but I'm pretty lenient, so take that as you will. Combat is a fairly fast affair, consisting largely of quick light attacks, slow heavy attacks, and MP consuming skills and magic spells. You also have little higgledy helpers along that can aid you with skills and special effects while you fight. But to be perfectly honest, you can actually kind of ignore them for the most part, and you'll do just fine. I know some people have complained about the difficulty of the game, and I'm not sure I really have the right to comment on that, due to the way that I normally play RPGs. The way I roll is that if there is something in front of me that is alive, I make it dead. If I get a side quest, I put the main story on hold and go out of my way to do it. Doing things this way will likely see you frequently over-leveled for the content of the main story. When you get to be around 8 levels above an enemy, its name will turn blue, and it will become passive unless you attack it first or bump into it. For the majority of the game, when I would explore a new area, most enemies would already have their names in blue, with a few exceptions. And I would kill them all anyways, usually dispatching them in a few short seconds. On top of that, you get access to the Tactics Tweaker, which allows you to adjust various combat settings like increasing the damage you inflict on particular enemy types, altering your weakness and resistance to elements and ailments, as well as modifying other beneficial effects for you and your party. When properly adjusted, the Tactics Tweaker can make most bosses in the game quite laughable, especially if you're typically overleveled like I usually was. As such, I can see where people are coming from in regards to the difficulty. The last thing I want to talk about is the kingdom building aspect of the game. At a certain point, you'll set up shop in a particular location on the world map and actually start building your own kingdom. It's a rather simple task as you don't manually place anything in the kingdom. Every facility has its own predetermined location as to where it can be built. You just spend the kingdom management resource, King's Guilders, and poof, it's done. By assigning citizens that you recruit to your kingdom to various facilities, they will either gather free materials for you or allow you to conduct research. Researching can have many beneficial effects, like giving you extra bonuses for combat, adding new weapons or armor to your shops, increasing the overall efficiency of the facilities of your kingdom, and much more. It's a nice little management minigame that I spent far too long idling in. You see, you generate King's Guilders over time, and I assume you're meant to do a few things and then go off adventuring and come back later to do more once some currency has built up. However, I frequently found myself idling in the management screen, watching the money in my coffers slowly build up, because I needed just that little bit more to do one more thing, and then another, and another, and so on. So, bottom line, absolutely loved Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, and I can't wholeheartedly recommend it enough if you're a fan of JRPGs or action RPGs. The story was a little on the weak side if you ask me, but it was by no means bad. I'm sure some people might be concerned about playing Ni no Kuni 2 if they haven't played the first one. And yet, I have seen many interviews and reviews in the past regarding other games when somebody will say, no, you don't need to have played the first game in order to enjoy the sequel, and they have been dead wrong. Well, in this case, I would actually agree with such a remark, as there is very little story-wise that ties the games together. Although, there are certainly several references to the first game that put a smile on my face, because I could say something like, I get the reference, or, ah, I see what you did there. On that note, if you haven't played the first game, Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch on PS3, I would totally recommend it. After all, I spent my fair share of time with that game as well. And with that, I think I've said all I really intend to say on Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. So, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.